Welcome guys to Fryerning XL Carp Fisheries, and it looks like at long last together we've made it to the end of this most bizarre phase for all of our lives. We're almost there, we're almost out of lockdown, and it's nearly time to go angling again. So that's going to bring a big smile to my face and everybody's watching, I hope. Now this video that we put in place now that we're going to make for you is to just make you aware of what you can and you can't do when you come back to frying. Obviously the government legislation needs to be totally respected, social distancing needs to be totally respected, other anglers need to be respected, and of course the management that live here on site need to be respected as well. So we're going to go through a few different guidelines and a few things for you guys to bear in mind, for you to all keep each other safe, yourselves safe, and for us to continue to enjoy angling without something going wrong and having it shut down because of something stupid that we've done. We've got to protect ourselves, protect each other, observe the rules that we're going to explain to you in this video, and hopefully catch some really big fish as well. Now, social distancing is of course very, very important. You're all pretty much used to it. We've all been living this now for 7 or 8 weeks, so we know what it means. 2 meters absolute minimum. Where possible, give people even more space. You should be able to do your own self-take photography, but even if you need an angler to help out with you, don't break the 2 meter rule and everyone will be fine. This means obviously don't approach anyone's personal space, including the management, and this also includes, this is very important, the dogs that are on site, more of which I'll come to a bit later. But absolutely no petting of the dogs, no exceptions to this rule whatsoever, and please respect other anglers' space at all times. Now, as you walk around the fishery, there are 1 or 2 narrow paths. There's certainly one along the bank of the car park lake. So if you think you can't get yourself and your gear along there without compromising someone else's personal space, then use the path down at the bottom along the side of the valley, for example. So common sense will apply and needs to apply. Make sure you keep your distance and make sure you all keep safe. Now, as if all those measures we're taking to protect you guys from the virus, we've also of course got to protect our precious carp from the virus. These measures are slightly new. Now, for the time being, you guys are going to continue using your own unhooking equipment, landing nets, slings and mats. Fryerning does supply those historically, but they're not in use at the moment, so you need to bring your own equipment. And for the time being, whilst we're just coming out of this lockdown phase and easing things back to normal, the guys have put in a big disinfectant tank, which is what you must use for all of your nets, slings and mats. And the first thing to mention is when you arrive at the fishery, your gear should be bone dry anyway. Very, very important. The best way to kill any aquatic virus is by UV light and drying things out thoroughly. Seeing as no one's been fishing for about 8 weeks, probably more, some of you won't have been since last year, your gear should be dry. But if you're coming back for your 2nd or 3rd trip, make sure your gear is dry. So your net, slings and mats must be fully immersed into the tank. Make sure they're completely soaked and just leave them in there just to soak up that disinfectant for a few seconds. Let that absolutely get swimming in there, and it will get into all of your all of the zips and the bits of flotation and everything that's going on with these bits of kit. When you've done it, take it out, drain off the excess, and there will be a hose right by the tank or just round the corner by the toilet entrance, so you can wash off your equipment as well, because the disinfectant is very aggressive to the virus that carp can transmit, but also it can affect the metal wear on your gear. So just give it a little squirt off and turn the hose off, and then you're done. Don't worry about the colour of the liquids, completely normal. If it does go clear or anything like that, that means that it's reached the end of its working life. So just let one of the management guys know and they will reapply the disinfectant. But they're on top of things down here anyway. It probably won't get to that. So fully immersed, dry, shake it off, get yourself fishing. While I'm here, just want to mention that the toilets and the showers are going to be open for you guys to use. But again, they have to be used sensibly. Any surfaces that you touch must be disinfected thoroughly, either using your own stuff that you bring with you or stuff that you find inside the building there. So those facilities will be open for you to use. Please use them sensibly and make sure that we protect our fish. So I've got a short list of rules and stipulations that you guys are going to need to adhere to when you do come back onto site, which we hope will be very, very soon indeed. Now the plan is that the fishery will open up for a maximum stay of just under 48 hours. Now that's 2 nights stay for anyone who's not up on their maths, but it's 47 hours to give yourself an hour to get off before the next rota arrives. Now I will explain more in just a moment. So on the day that the fishery decides that it's going to open, which is will be shown on the post clearly underneath the video, the gates will open at noon, 12 o'clock on the chosen day. Now you'll be allowed to come in and stay until noon on the 2 days later, but you must pack up at 11 o'clock and be gone. So it's 47 hours instead of 48 hours. So 2 nights, more than enough time. Now this is just purely because a lot of people will still be on furlough and have a lot of time on their hands and so on, and the management want to make it fair for everybody who's got a ticket down at Fryerning. If we got half a dozen people turn up and try and do week-long stints, it's just not going to work. So this is a fair-minded system that is intended for everyone to get a fair crack of the whip, so to speak. Now, on the day that is chosen for the fishery to open, it is not acceptable to start queuing outside the gate well before midday. We don't want any of that. Any kind of behaviour like that won't be tolerated. So midday is when the gates will open. Turn up at that time and the fishery will be open on a first come first served basis. Now if the gates will be closed after everybody's in, if there are spaces still available, then members will still be allowed in. We totally understand that you're all itching to get back out on the bank, but we must have common sense with this. Get in touch with each other, find out what your mates are doing, and let's try and ease things back into this gently. Now there's probably a good 14 or 15 spaces on the main lake. We don't want people shoulder to shoulder crammed into every slot. So the management will be exercising their discretion to make sure that people who are here get to enjoy their allocated 47 hours fishing without being shoulder to shoulder, obviously social distancing as well, and crammed into corners and so on. So we want to get good quality fishing at the same time. So the management isn't going to allow any of the lakes to get absolutely ram solid full of anglers, because that isn't going to benefit anybody at all. Now on the day of leaving, the anglers must pack up and leave the fishery by 11 AM, which gives a good clear hour plus for the next group of anglers to come on. It's very important for you to remember that once you're at the fishery, you must not leave and you must not have a guest turn up. Leaving includes going to the shop, so please bring everything you're going to require for your 48 hours, food, bait, water. Well, there's water actually on site, but food and bait certainly make sure you've got with you, because we don't want people coming and going. That's just not going to be of benefit to anybody. Now, this system is something that's going to be tweaked and revised as we go forward and as we ease our way back into a new normal that we keep hearing, and hopefully get back to a normal style of fishing. But it's a system that the management have felt is the fairest to all of our very, very valuable members down at Fryerning, and will give you all a good go at the fishing. So there's a couple more notes that I just want to make you aware of. Several areas have been made out of bounds now, out of bounds I should say. Again, out of respect to the management and the people that live here, the lodge swim for the time being is closed. We want to keep anglers in that area around the house and around the animals. Just we don't want any, basically. So the first swim as you come onto the complex will be the chocolate finger. That's going to be for a period of time to be determined by the management, but that's what's going to happen immediately. Another area to point out is, apart from the lodge being shut, is that the hedge bank I should say, on the car park lake, which is obviously where the hedge runs all along the side of the field, that is no fishing. So one bank of the car park is fishable and both ends, and all you do is you cast across to the far bank, but you are allowed to walk round and bait up should you wish to do so. When you are travelling around the lake, obviously please make sure that you respect other anglers' space, as we've already gone through. Again, I don't expect any real problems with this. We've been living this now for 2 months and we're all pretty used to it. So even if you are one of these people that don't take things too seriously, it's about other people. It's not about you. Respect other people's space, other people's privacy. Now, in reference to those areas which have been made out of bounds, and they're only very limited small areas, you will be given a map which is going to be on the website, downloadable, and that will clearly show all the out of bounds areas if anybody has any questions. As I said, very, very simple. It's the hedge bank of the car park lake and the lodge swim, and the swim immediately to the right of lodge swim, which I believe is called Howlers. So fish captures are no longer being entered into the catch records, but the management would like to keep fully detailed records, of course. So it's just to protect you guys from handling the manuscripts and the binders and so on. So when you finish your session, please email the management with your fantastic catches of great big common and mirror carp, so that we can keep a record of what's going on. But as I said, these shouldn't be entered into the books manually as we have done in the past. So something slightly different, during the lockdown we've created a map of the lakes which is showing you exactly what each swim's water is available to it. Now at this stage it's been done for the main lake, but it will be done for the valley and the car park. It clearly shows the boundaries for all the swims in terms of wraps, which all carp anglers are au fait with. If you're not au fait with them, then you can convert that very easily to yards, so we don't want any excuses. One wrap is 4 yards, so it just prevents any aggro when the lakes are busy. It's got limits on casting distance and also left and right boundaries as well, just to protect your own fishing, because the last thing anyone wants is someone casting a 3-ounce lead into their swim, which doesn't actually happen down at Fryerning very often, but with this new map it shouldn't happen at all. So finally, you will see as you're going round the lake there are a few little bald patches of mud which are containing newly seeded grass. Please do not walk or drive your wheelbarrow over these. We're trying to protect that grass and get it to grow, and it's being watered regularly with the sprinkler system to get that coming through nicely. And very lastly, introducing a new member to the team. You can't stroke him or pat him or pet him at the moment, but the governor is the new site pup. He's a miniature Ted, but with a much better attitude. An absolute darling of a dog. You're not going to have any security issues. He's going to be walking around. He's very, very friendly, and hopefully when all of this is lifted you'll be able to give him a proper hello. But he's called the Governor. And on a last note, just while you guys are still here, just to let you know, the site has been fully protected whilst we've been in lockdown. The management have been on site all the time. This is the first time I've come down for a walk around, but the work, as always, that's been going on is phenomenal. I've never seen the place looking as beautiful. The seeding, the watering, the pruning, the flowering and everything else is just breathtaking. So the management presence on the site during that time means that you will not have to worry about some of the things that other sites have had to worry about. Otters, not a problem. Poaching, not a problem. The site has been and will remain completely secure and ready for your use as soon as we can get up and running, which will be in a very, very near future indeed. I look forward to seeing you down there. There's some incredible fish waiting to be caught. Hopefully we can put these distant memories of COVID-19 behind us, get back to doing what we all love. Look forward to seeing you soon.